So Jessica and I are here
Cheers.
in Munich at a German restaurant, except we don't speak German, we can't read German, they don't have an English menu, so
Beer capital of the world. How to get a beer.
who knows what we actually ordered, but it's a nice place. Munich's nice. We'll show you the food when it comes out. And yes, we both look ragged, we've been on the road for a while. So Jessica she got fries on a side of burger. And I got some sort of traditional German dish, which wasn't really to my tasting. I do remember though that they didn't take card, we didn't have cash on hand, so I had to leave the restaurant and leave Jessica there kind of by herself and run around the neighborhood until I found an ATM and pulled enough money out. That was really stressful. I remember that. There's a castle in Bavaria which helped inspire Cinderella's castle. It's called Neuschwanstein, and we visited it during our world trip. In order to see Neuschwanstein, we stayed in Munich. We were there 3 days. We did Airbnb like we normally do. So it wasn't a long stay. It would cost $238 for the Airbnb room and accommodations. We went there specifically, well, to see Munich, but also to go and see Neuschwanstein. We took a day tour with Mike's Bike Tours to get out there, and the day tour costs 49 euros per person. But then there's also like an additional 13 euro charge on top of that because the state of Bavaria controls the tours inside the castle, so your tour company will do all the tours around outside the castle and the surrounding area, but once you go inside, your tour guide can't go in, they just kind of hand you off, and it's a separate thing. Our tour left at like 9 a.m., and it was like an hour bus ride or something out there. And when we get there, the first thing we do, it's still early and still morning, but we do a bike tour kind of around the countryside. It provides lots of good photo opportunities. Neuschwanstein's not the only castle there, it's the most famous castle. There's also like another little yellow castle up on the hill.
We didn't get to go to it.
At the end of our bike ride, we kind of went out to this lake that had a good view of just the surrounding area, but it was filled with alpine water, and our tour guide wanted to know if any of us wanted to go swimming. And me and one other American thought it would be a good idea to strip down to our underwear and go swimming in the alpine cold water. I don't regret doing it, but it was extremely cold. I'd say it was on par with the coldness of Lake Tahoe water, if you've ever been to Lake Tahoe. And then got out, dried off, and went biking back. The way that the tour works is that our tour guide booked us a certain time to go inside the castle. I think our time was like 3 p.m. So we still had time before we needed to be up at the castle. And one of the things you can do there is they have this metal luge-like thing. It's like what you see for bobsleds, but you have these little plastic things you sit on with a brake, and you kind of go down the metal luge like a big adult slide. And it ratchets you up the hill, and you go up and you go up and you go up and you go up, and then you get to zoom down. And it's pretty fun. It's not too scary if you're not a big fan of going fast. After lunch, the tour bus took us to the foot of the castle, and we had to like walk up a nice long hill. It was a bit of a hike. I mean, you would need decent shoes on. It took us a while to get up there, and then once we got to the castle, we continued, and if you go behind the castle, there's this really beautiful gorge, at the top of which there's a bridge called Mary's... You're in my space. So we hiked up and up, and then there's a bridge called Mary's Bridge, which is going to be chock full of tourists, but it's probably honestly one of the best photos that you're going to be able to get of Neuschwanstein Castle, unless you had like a helicopter or something. The
bridge was a little scary, because I don't like bridges, so.
And there was heaps of people on it.
Yeah, but it was pretty cool.
You're not forced to go up to the bridge, you can elect to stay at the castle, but we wanted to see. From there, we hiked back down to the castle, and it was about time for us to enter, so we snapped as many photos as we could. tour was then taken over by the state employee. They're very strict and mean, not allowing you to take photos inside of the castle. And anytime we tried to like pull out the camera, they were like yelling at us. We were able to sneak a few photos, but I mean, the castle was amazing, both inside and outside. This is about the epitome of what you would think of living in a castle is like.
I could live in this castle.
The king who built this castle, King Ludwig II, people said that he was kind of eccentric. Maybe it was more true that he was ahead of his time. People call him crazy, but in order to do some of the things he did, he couldn't have been completely insane. The tour was worthwhile. The countryside was beautiful.
It was like heaven.
It's kind of like Switzerland a little bit. It's got grassy fields with these beautiful mountains everywhere. Picturesque castle, like halfway up. You can tell why he chose to put his castle there.
It was like a dreamland.
From there, having checked a mark off our bucket list, we went back to Munich, and we had made friends. There was a lot of couples on our trip, and we met up with some of them later at a beer garden, and Jessica got like a huge mug of beer. That's what you're supposed to do when you're in Munich. Munich itself is a wonderful city. It's a lot more modern feeling than a lot of the other European cities, I guess you say. I felt very easy there. It's a very livable.
It was one of my favorite places.
It was almost Oktoberfest. We left right before it because just because of scheduling, but Jessica tried on the traditional German garb, and had we had more budget, it might have been fun to buy some of it, but it kind of seemed super duper touristy, and we couldn't justify spending the money on those clothes.
And we went to a used clothes store too, huh?
And it was still like hundreds of euros. One of the things you're supposed to do when you're in Munich is go to Hofbrauhaus, which is a very, very famous, I don't know if you call it beer garden, but it's a restaurant that's really boisterous, and there's all sorts of German foods and beers and stuff. But we didn't have a reservation, and we didn't have the budget, and we didn't have the time, given the things we wanted to do. But we did do a walkthrough, and we'll probably do it next time we go through there. Alright, well that's it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. We'll have more boating and travel videos out very soon.